Grocery prices are rising and we're all feeling the pinch at the supermarket checkout. As a single mum of 3, our next guest needed to cut costs while still feeding their family nutritious meals that her kids would actually eat.
With a dinner budget of just $70 a week, Chelsea Goodwin is now sharing her wisdom and delicious recipes in her new book called $10 Meals with Chelsea. Chelsea Goodwin joins us now from her kitchen in Brisbane. Chelsea, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jo. Good morning, Fazia.
Now, this is a really personal one. You didn't actually set out necessarily to write this book, but it's a personal one for you because essentially you're inviting us into your kitchen. What led to this book?
That's correct. I mean, the book is essentially just a compilation of the types of meal plans that I'm cooking for my family each week. And we were just in a position where we had to really tighten the purse strings and figure out a way to bring down the budget, and then settled on that sort of $70 a week for dinner. So, I started coming up with these meal plans, started sharing them online, and it's ended up in a book now.
Meal plans, that is key, isn't it? You're all about the planning.
Absolutely. There's no way I could do it without really meticulous planning, and that's the way that I'm able to keep those costs really low.
The thing is though, Chelsea, people are struggling with their finances, but they're also time poor as well. Is this a time-consuming thing to do, all this planning?
Initially it was. When I first started meal planning, it was something that would take me hours each week to figure it out. Now I feel like I've got it down to a bit of a fine art, and I can do it pretty quickly. But I'd say when you're starting off, it is something you have to allow time for.
Sorry, we're just having a microphone issue there. But when you're doing the planning, tell us some of the tips that you've learned over the time of doing that and what has worked for you.
Yeah. Certainly. I mean, for me, it's all about minimising waste and keeping the cost really low. So I found the best way to do that is to make sure that I'm planning meals that share ingredients. So, for instance, I'll try only to use one bunch of fresh herbs for the whole week if I have to go out and buy it, and share them between multiple meals so there's no waste. Or, for instance, if I'm using sour cream, I will use that in 3 different meals. Particularly with ingredients that have an expiration date on them, sort of a near expiration date, just making sure that they're all used up within that week.
So this is different to batch cooking, because I'm a confession here, I find cooking a bit of a chore, and so I'm more of a batch cooker to avoid having to cook as much. But this is different.
Yeah. It is a little bit different. So I do a version of batch cooking where I'll cook sort of a hero dish at the beginning of the week, and then we'll use that dish in different meals throughout the week and sort of convert it into completely different meals. I'll give you an example. It might be, a Greek roast lamb that I'll make at the beginning of the week, and then I'll use that in a Middle Eastern style pasta dish, and then I'll use that in a Moroccan soup. So we're saving time for those other meals, but also stretching a cheap cut of meat quite far.
Yeah. As we say, grocery prices are going up and up, it seems, every week. Are you finding it harder to get under that $10 benchmark?
It's definitely becoming harder, I'll admit. And I mean, even throughout the year, grocery prices can fluctuate wildly with, seasonal veggies, and the price of meat goes up and down. But yeah, I am finding it more difficult, and I'll admit I may not be able to do $10 meals in 3 years' time, but I'm still managing to keep my budget at the moment at $150 per week.
What are some mistakes people make when trying to keep their food spend down? Because I always notice specials, for example, and then maybe buy multiples of the thing on special. But is that the wrong approach?
I tend to do that with cleaning products. I'll look for those half price specials and that sort of thing, but not so much with food. I find it a lot easier to just have a bank of low cost meals that I know I can cook, and it doesn't really matter whether they're on special or not. And I'll work with those rather than trying to work around the supermarket specials. I think sometimes we can overbuy as well when we're trying to buy specials, so people end up spending more than they intended to initially.
Just finally, Chelsea, what's the verdict from your kids? Because that's a tough audience.
My kids love my food. They haven't always loved my food. My cooking has improved hugely over the years. But no, they love the variety that we're able to incorporate into our meal plans. And yeah, I've got 3 teenagers, so they're all really big eaters as well.
Right, and you've cooked something for us this morning, Chelsea. What did you cook
I
for us?
have. This is actually my 15-year-old son's favourite meal.
Okay.
And it's a chicken paprikash. So this is in my cookbook. I'll see if I can give you a little. It's a sort of a Hungarian chicken stew using chicken drumsticks and a paprika. The paprika is the flavour base to it, but it's absolutely delicious and so low cost.